Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we are going to look at into Mongoose a schema. So in Mongoose everything start with a schema. Each schema map to a MongoDB collection and define the shape of that document within that collection. So as here you can see, these are the entities of the Mongoose schema, which is this one. So another way to write this is to store it into one variable called const schema equals this one, and you just put a schema here. So both are the same, either you write this one or directly store it into the variable and write this one. So there are several types of data types available in the Mongoose schema, like as I have written here, string, then numbers, then booleans, dates, buffer, mixed object ID, array, maps, and decimal 128. So to create a model, we just have to first define our model. If we define our model, then basically we are just templating our documents, and we are just going to store documents in that format, like this format. So to store data, we just first have to create a model. So now here, as you can see, we have just created model like this. So now let's write some real code. So let's delete this one as well. So here, as you can see, we have name, age, standard, and grade, as we have seen in the previous video. So here we are just going to see which type of functions are supported by the by Mongoose schemas. So as I have promised in the introductory video, that we can change default ID generated by the schema. So now let's see how do we do that. So first, create one document. Create one document below the model. Name, put some name. Then age, put some age, like 12. A standard, and grade 8.9 or something. So if we console log this, so we will just get one default ID. Let's run this. So as here you can see, we are just getting a default ID. So we want to change this default ID. How do we do that? So to do that, we just have to first change this ID equal to some values. Now let's run this code. This won't change because we have just not included. This won't change because we have just not included ID in our schema. So first include ID to our schema. If you run this again, you will see what's wrong. Okay, not this one. Okay, sorry, not here. just include id here. So if we include run this, so as you can see, we have just changed default id to some our own id. So this is the way you can change the default id. Okay, so now let's write some functions. So functions supported by model is instance methods, statics, query helpers, and virtuals. So I'm going to take these four. So first write instance methods. So basically instance methods are applied on the document and statics are applied on the model. So now let's write one function, means instance methods. So to write instance methods, first you have to write a student schema dot methods dot method dot. I'm just going to find the student details. I'm just going to write one function, a student details, so which will contain a student name and age. So a student it will return a student name and age of that student. So now let's see what output we are getting through this function. So if we comment this out first, comment this line also. If we console log student1 dot student details, so we will get a student name and detail age. So if you run this, so here we are just getting name of the student pseudo and age 12. So that is the way you can write instance methods. So this is called instance methods. Now let's write a statics. So as I have said earlier, statics are applied on the model. So I'm just going to write one function which basically going to find by name. So just write a student schema dot statics dot find by name. It will take one parameter name and it will return this dot find by name equal to regex so it will basically this is basically this is basically the model. Actually this contains the model. This basically is the model name and where we are applying model dot find. So this is same like model dot find as we have seen earlier. So if we apply this, then we will just get so now let's run this code. We have lots of example from the previous in our database. So we just now console log a student dot find by name. So we, as you can see, we have just changed the means definition of the function find by name, and you can create as many functions you like. So Ajay. So as you can see, we have just got details of the statics function. Basically it returns lots of details from the model actually, and in that there is name of the students, something collection name. There are lots of details, database name, etc. So this basically apply on the model as we have seen. Now let's write query helpers. So query helpers basically apply on the query functions. Query helpers means which are the like instance method, but Mongoose but it applies on the Mongoose queries actually. So now let's write one function which will get which will return a document by name. So student schema dot query dot by name function and name, and it will return this dot where name equal to new res xp name I. This is basically regular expression. And so as you can see, this dot where we are applying this type of function, as we have seen in the previous video, this where, select, limit, etc. we apply on the query. So here this contain the query, means this is equivalent to query. So understood. So that's why we are applying this dot where, so that we can find we apply the filter method on the query. So now let's see how do we write how do we get it by name. So to call that method, we just have to call console.log student.find. This one is one query and it is equal to this, as we have seen here, it is equal to this. Now let's write our query function by name of the people you want to find, as I have seen, means Ajay, and then execute function, first parameter error, then result. So if it has error, then throw that error, else console log result. Okay, now let's run this. So as you have you can see, this is returning Ajay name to some means returning the document with the name Ajay. So that's it for the query helper function. Now one most important function, which is actually a virtuals. So virtuals are a document property that you can get and set, but that do not get persisted to MongoDB. Basically, getters are used for formatting or combining field, while setters are used for decomposing into single values. Okay, so suppose you have name and age. So with the help of getters, you can get directly via in the third parameters, which doesn't belong to this schema. So like you can create a virtual name age name is, and you can combine both name and age in that variable, that entities. So let's write that. Virtuals. Okay. A student schema dot virtual, the name of the virtual, so I'm just writing name is, then dot get function, and just return this dot name plus this dot is. So here we are just combining name and age into one third variable, one third entity, name age, which is belongs to a student schema now. So if you write console.log a student1, which is our document, dot name is, so it will combine both the name plus age. So now let's see the output. As you can see, the name is sudo and age is 12, which is this document. Name is sudo and age is 12. So we have seen how to combine this into one variable which belongs to the document. Now how do we set that? To set that, we just have to call set function. It actually take one parameter v or some name, and if you want to set that variable, which variable you want to set, suppose I want to set name to some values, so I'm going to set both name and age. So here if you set this dot name to some value, suppose v, and so here I'm just going to write student1 dot name equal to Ajay, console.log a student1. So as you can see, the name of the student has changed now because of that virtual function. So here you have you can see a student name is sudo, but as I have set the student name to Ajay, it is changed to Ajay. So now I want to change as well. So you just pass one value here, just write one by using a space, means just a space separated values, and here we can get those values. So just split it in via a space. So v dot substring 0 to the index number of the space, v dot index of a space, and this dot is equals v dot substring v dot index of a space plus 1 comma v dot length. Okay, now let's see what output we are getting. Here we have just set else to 20, and here as you can see age is 12. So now let's run this again. So expected output is name Ajay and age 20. So as you can see, there is something missing here. Okay, sorry. So we just have to set name is here. Sorry. Name is. Sorry about the previous example also. Name is. We just have to set name is. So if you run this, name set to Ajay and age set to 20. So as you can see, with the via virtual function, we can change the actual document, and this virtual function belongs to the document. Means actually we can use it as a variable which doesn't belong to our schema. So suppose if you want to add another variable at the sometime later, if you want to change the document, then what do you do in that case? So in that case, you can just add extra entities, extra parameters by using add function. So you can add extra parameters by using add function. So that's it for this video. Hope you have learned a lot. Thank you so much for watching.